kind of expect CLG Gaming to maybe ban out one of those, if not both of them. But there's also a lot of jungle champions that get pinched. Nocturne, Kindred, jump up there. And I think this might come down to a Kindred and a Zoe or Taliyah being up in the first round, and then kind of trading 1-for-1 there is what it's looking like so far.
The Varus and the Tomcat. There's like no, neither of these two great picks alone as well. Lucian gets taken out as Stixxay is really getting hit up here in the beginning part of the picks and bans. Swain is going to be the final one, and a lot of picks being left up here with the Taliyah, the Kindred. Can't wait to see what these teams lock in.
I would say that...
And a Rakan, yeah, we don't have the initiation. We saw that banned out first last game on blue side. Now we're going to see it first pick by 100 Thieves.
Yeah, having the Rakan for Aphromoo. I don't think funnel really exists too much anymore. You can still play it, but there's a lot of penalties to it.
It's something we saw 100 Thieves doing quite a bit of.
Yeah, and we'd see if they actually maybe go for something like that again. I doubt it, but having a Aphromoo plus Cody Sun, Xayah, Rakan bottom lane is something that they would always want to have. But for CLG, there's things like the Kindred up. You can even go for, I wasn't expecting the Morgana. I was expecting more along the lines of the Zoe or the Taliyah to be picked up here for Huhi or ReignOver.
The Morgana is to stop the Zoe kills. Kindred as well, so they get a pick that they want and a very decent pick in the jungle. Morgana's still a great pick. We'll see what 100 Thieves answers with. Thought Chronologic Gaming might try to separate the Xayah Rakan, but they're saying we're not going to flex to your champion select. We're still going to get what we want coming in.
Yeah, the Morgana's interesting because it's also a flex pick. You can put it mid, you can put it bot lane.
Very true.
You can put it support.
The Snorgana farm.
But it's interesting that they would pick it up there because you can pick it later in the draft, but they wanted to make sure that they don't get kind of pinched and then somebody picks a mid laner here for 100 Thieves and you have to counter it before the counters get banned.
Oh my word.
Yep, kind of expecting the Taliyah to come through or the Zoe, but
color coded, I like it.
Wasn't expecting it from 100 Thieves. Yeah, they actually look like they're sharing a background. I totally see, I can't unsee that now.
Mundo locked in. The life of purple on the side of Chronologic Gaming. Morgana, Mundo, and Kindred. So they have top side of the map, possibly middle with that Morgana. We'll have to see how CLG goes with, I mean, Huhi kind of really flexing that champion pool lately. You can see quite a bit in that mid lane. Second phase of bans upon us as Nar begins it for Chronologic Gaming.
Yep, I think this will be the first Taliyah for Ryu this split as well.
Ooh.
It's pretty much not been something that's fallen into their hands at all. And he
wasn't in the jungle either.
No, and he was playing a bottom lane a whole bunch with Vladimir and stuff like that. Right now, the way that this is looking is, I think Chronologic Gaming are just going to ban Gnar Darius because those are the two biggest counters to Mundo that kind of exist right now. There are other ones, but okay, this may mean that Ssumday is going to have a fun day in the top lane if he plays the Darius into the Mundo, which is a matchup that we've seen him play before, and he's popped off on Darius already this split one time, a 7-1-6 scoreline back against Echo Fox.
They have one final ban, still hitting up Stixxay, even with the Tahm Kench out. Usually you see the Jhin with the Tahm Kench all the time for that safety, but and a Caitlyn.
Wow.
This guy has his work cut out for him today. He says Kalista, not even a hesitation, as he gets dropped back 5 bot carries.
That was...
I should say 4, picking a 5th.
That was such a convincing Kalista lock-in from Stixxay
oh
because he didn't even hover Warwick, which is like Stixxay's thing to hover Warwick.
110% of the time he hovers Warwick.
That's how you know that he was committed to that pick there. So Morgana plus the Kalista, fantastic, because if you put the black shield on her, it means she can't be stopped while she's leaping around. She just has all this mobility in the fights.
Throwing in the Soul Shackle. Zoe getting into second phase. This pick has been amazing. We got Galio getting in for Huhi, so they actually go with a lot of defense in the end. They have the Kindred ultimate. They're going to have the heroic entrance now. They actually have a whole lot of circle ultimates to be used here with Soul Shackles as well. We'll get into that. But Zoe getting locked in. This composition for 100 Thieves is so S tier.
Yeah, it's S tier, but it's squishy tier.
That's true.
They have to keep their range.
That's what S stands for, right?
Exactly. S is for squishy in this one, for sure. Ssumday is going to have a counter matchup top lane. They're going to have a decent matchup in the mid, but the Galio can have some kill pressure. The Taliyah is kind of the X factor here because it depends on how Anda plays this. If he's able to knock Kindred around and catch her, because it's very difficult with the Qs.
Get early.
You have to line up that seismic shove perfectly. But even hitting that against something like a Kalista on top of that becomes quite difficult. So I'm watching Anda in the jungle here, but then Cody Sun and Aphromoo. This dual lane bottom up against Aphromoo's old team, old squad with Stixxay and now Biofrost there on the Kalista that he had been very committed to locking in. But it's a side lane focus here from CLG. So back to kind of what we were talking about with Taliyah for roaming, but this time it's the Galio to go to the side lane and maybe play off of Stixxay and Morgana.
Ooh, what a spicy pick and ban. Very, very targeted one at the man you just saw on your screen in Stixxay. He's been having some decent games lately. Cloud9 week 4, 10-1 and 9. And then he was forced to Varus Vladimir Ezreal in games that have actually been losses recently. So they're looking to pick this one up from the bot lane with confidence here. 100 Thieves and Counterlogic Gaming, we are on the Rift.
Right now, 100 Thieves tied for first place, CLG. In that PAX, it's one game out from being in last place. So if you're able to pick one up here, up against that top team, you pull them down a bit, bring yourself up, and you break that losing streak that CLG have been having. Because they were 5-3, now they find themselves 5-6, and you don't want to have 4 in a row.
And following today's games, Echo Fox's Smoothie will be joining Freak and Kobe on NALCS tonight, and we want to hear from you. So if you have any questions for Smoothie or the Analyst, tweet us at LOL eSports using the hashtag NALCS. You can get those questions in and see what's up, how Smoothie's doing, how the Analysts are feeling about what is going on in the LCS. Sweet segment. Check it out. But right now we have CLG versus 100 Thieves. Aphromoo moves in nice and slow to get some of that early vision in. Looks like they feel pretty comfortable moving that line of scrimmage up on all fronts.
Yeah, if you can find the wards though, there's 2 sweepers. One on each team. And that can give you some extra gold early as well as some experience. The experience for the level 2 is usually the one that people are mostly looking for. We'll see here. Yep. ReignOver's actually just going to get that one and not the one that's over at his buff. But I'm going to check really quickly who got experience off of that one, because that's what really matters, is who got that little extra EXP. And I think it was split between ReignOver, Darshan, and Huhi, so it's a 3-way split there.
Lots of love. That'll be nice. Hopefully they can use it in lane. A lot of times you see those fizzle out, but for the moment it works. That's why you do it. Anda gets his blue, the blue, I should say, and they're off and running. So this should be ReignOver playing top side of the map, but they aren't going to get that vertical jungling right off the bat. Anda's going to skip right through, being able to use the passive speed, and now they're going to find ReignOver right in the brush. Huhi's going to have a taunt on him. Flash it! A double taunt! Anda's going down for first blood! The follow-up on Ryu, not enough, leaving him at 100 HP.
They get the flash out of Ryu, the first blood on Anda, and now ReignOver's going to be able to take over this jungle. That was perfectly played there.
Very, very fast. Great on ReignOver to kind of call the audible and switch it up. Aphromoo taking a lot of shots. Oh, it's actually going to be pie to the face onto Cody Sun as the Dark Binding hits. And Aphromoo trying to stand in front as the meat wall. Everything over his shoulder brings them down to 500 HP combined in that lane. Stixxay did take a good bit of damage, but they're able to stand strong at the turret. Here's ReignOver now double buffed up, able to get a refresh on Anda's blue, which was his. And now they're going to be able to get that scuttle control.
Yeah, and that's so good from ReignOver. The fact that he actually, I believe he marked Anda early as well. So he's at 2 marks very early on in the game.
Very close to Stixxay. Heal goes down immediately. Knowing you get a bit more of a cooldown on that, they're going to call in the teleport as well. Biofrost almost living as they call the feathers back. Aphromoo going to be taken down as he's turned into a pin cushion. And now it's going to be Cody Sun. Blocked out. A double kill for Stixxay.
CLG playing to the side lanes with Huhi, exactly what you want to see if you're a fan, where he's got the TP behind them and he comes in to disrupt the fight, and that's one that comes up big for them. Because now Stixxay, 2 kills to his name.
Crazy.
They've been dominating this bottom lane with the pressure. Dodges out of the way. Biofrost gets caught. Alley-oop right over to Aphromoo. Sure, they pick up Biofrost here, but Aphromoo's had to commit himself. He dies after blowing the flash too, and then they're able to get 2 for 1 there. That's a deal I'll take any Sunday.
First Ballista game this split. Stixxay already off to a 2-0 start. Feeling really good. Berserker Greed so he can keep that cadence going for himself and flying around with the auto attacks.
Exactly, and the cadence actually increases in range based on the boot rank, so there's 3 ranks of it. No boots, brown bags, and then upgraded boots. So you actually increase the distance in which you jump with your passive as Kalista based on whatever shoe you have.
And that distance becomes very important as well. Aphromoo is going to be just short on those grand entrances as he tries to knock people up if you're going to be jumping out of them. So Stixxay, a little bit of a counter there if he can keep himself in a good spot. That CS is still 25-18 as it was getting pretty hectic in the bot lane. But Stixxay's picked up that CS in gold, and a cull picked up by Cody Sun to say, slow things down, definitely need to start farming.
Slow things down, don't fight, and that's the thing is 100 Thieves, remember, they like that slow macro game later. They were playing really aggressive in this game, and that's what got them killed was Anda running across mid lane in broad daylight, getting killed because the wards that Huhi had been able to split experience with got him level 2. So he hit level 2, we still had Ryu level 1, and then they were able to all in off of that. So just really great routing from ReignOver. Anda being a little, I would say, have a lot of bravado there.
Yeah.
Going across the mid lane, just trying to say he's the Taliyah, which is power farmer.
You know what's funny is I always say, I'm like, why don't, you know you guys going for the other side of the map, why don't you just go to the other side of the map? There's an example why. You're just in a lot of vision, it's very easy to counter. This could be very easy one as well. 3v2 as they go in, a good hit coming in. Stixxay rends down Cody Sun. And they also get ReignOver in for a little bit of that on the assist. Pressure on the turret still to give Aphromoo some trouble.
And the Kalista with just all this aggression and forward momentum where he's able to just keep jumping in with the upgraded boots and have all that distance he travels. And then he got black shielded by Biofrost on reaction to Aphromoo going in with the W. So if you're a Morgana that has pretty much any reaction time at all, you're going to be able to black shield in that time. And so we saw it right there. And now Anda's going to try to get something on the opposite side of the map because it's not working out for him right now.
Level 6, this could be difficult. Oh, he actually draws him out of the shot.
Dunk.
Gets the dunk, though. They have more than enough damage coming from each lane. And a necessary answer back as CLG is playing pretty hot right now.
Yeah, like you said, very necessary answer back. They need to get something on the top side. But watch this. Stixxay goes off to the left side, and then he throws a spear, which actually nails Cody Sun as soon as he just shows himself, and he rendered off a minion to reset it at the same time. Got the black shield, boom, easy reaction, flashes forward for the chase, and then gets the rend because he had reset it. He had thrown a spear on a minion, threw a Q at Cody Sun, rended for the slow, and it pulled the spears out and actually killed the minion he had just auto-attacked on the side. So that was perfect Kalista play there from Stixxay.
ReignOver is about 70% to 6. This minion wave dying amongst 3 probably won't get him 6, but they still want to try a possible dive. Level 5's hit here by 100 Thieves. And Anda is slowly creeping up as he slides along the rock wall. Oh, they just saw him on the edge of the ward here. ReignOver looks like he spent a little too much time, and now 100 Thieves is going to pull the heist. The job completed onto ReignOver just before hitting 6.
And right there, Anda almost 100-0s him off that.
Yeah, that was quick. That electrocute follow-up.
That's why you see Taliyah in the jungle, because if you face check a Taliyah as any champion that plays jungle, you're going to pretty much get blown up 100-0.
You literally get shoved around. It is not fun. He kept it bay in the bot lane. 100 Thieves having trouble.
But he gave a very needed kill over to Cody Sun, which will allow him to be a little bit more even in this lane.
Yeah.
Instead of just taking it for himself, because kill by itself, 300 gold. Getting assist on it makes the kill worth 450 gold total. So just having 450 gold go over to your team instead of just finishing it off is the appropriate play there for Anda.
Ooh. Nice feather call there to stun up. Biofrost and team feel like they've had good pressure on bot. They'll go ahead and get some wards in as Ryu heads back and forth just to harass ReignOver in his jungle. Can't wait to see some things continue to happen topside. Darshan got a bit of pressure, and we said we were going to watch that lane as Ssumday has just been going off. And now Anda's going to go back top once more. And you can see how safe Darshan is playing. He feels it. Yeah. He's like, I have a sixth sense, somebody else is here.
Well, it means his bottom lane has to play safe too. If they get caught here, he's got to watch out, because there's the TP from Darshan. Darshan's TPing. They're trying to just dive bottom, say, screw the top turret.
If it doesn't work the first time, try again. It's going to be Cody Sun Feather Storm out, and they try to retreat from the turret, just giving a safer fight for CLG. And now Aphromoo could take a cleaver to the back. One last hit from Darshan as the teleport comes up big with the return on investment, and they get bottom turret.
Oh, man, they weren't able to even have the pullback there from Cody Sun. He ulted, got stunned immediately afterward, so he wasn't able to do anything about that. He got stunned from the soul shackles. Latch onto you even if you ulti, but they're going to get that first turret down bottom. And that'll go over to CLG. Ssumday will get an answer back top. But now it's a split map right now. 100 Thieves have to play to Ssumday, whereas CLG, they can just play to multiple lanes right now, and they're in a fantastic spot to start showing that, you know, this is kind of the end of their 3-game losing streak.
And that's what we thought what we said we wanted to see, right? That rotation, those early pressure around the map where they could capitalize time and time again.
Yep. So right here, Biofrost gets the ultimate off. Cody Sun flashes, wants to E and pull them back, but he can't because he just got stunned right as he went down. And Darshan, pack your bags, Aphro.
this.
Finishes him off, and now we have the lane swap coming through. So CLG, this is super good for them. Stixxay has a lot of gold right now. He's already got the tier 2 boots. You look at his inventory and compare that to what Cody Sun has, and it's night and day difference. The 20 CS up that's happening right now for Stixxay, the 3 kills. Right now he's having a fantastic game. Blade of the Rune King is very close to being completed.
That's so troll.
And he's up already 1,200 gold. So troll the redemption.
Heal the minion wave
Yeah.
just so it pushes harder. Always fun.
Yes, redemptions in general on Zoe are...
That used to be one of the best parts of Alistar. At the turret, you go up and you heal your minions really quick.
Oh,
or
yeah.
CS.
Yeah,
That
old
was super troll.
press E.
Triumph.
Yeah,
That was the heal.
the old Emax. No, thank you.
Great wards coming in from
Correct.
CLG. They say we can go deeper. Oh, he thought he left turret range, but he did.
He pulled the dead body. He was storing a dead body. Stixxay. Wait, he got the ultimate off too.
Yeah, it's on cooldown. Never leave Biofrost behind.
Okay. Oh my gosh. I've never seen that happen before, where somebody actually has the Kalista ultimate go off while they're dead.
There's a first for everything, Zirene. I'm glad I could be here for this one.
Yeah, but the turret, plus the fact that what happened was he saw Aphromoo on the right side. He's like, all right, it's time to go in. That's just too much aggression for Biofrost with no flash. And I think he's saying, yo, pull me back in, get me out, get me out. And it's just a little bit too late there.
Ooh, over the wall, bringing out Wolf. Nice crippling hit. Ryu still wants to take the fight in. Ult forward, not enough. There's a quick drowsy on Huhi, and he will be safe. A big back and forth in mid lane. No big, actually, yeah, flash use. I thought that was a skill from Ryu, but he did use a summoner. Oh,
They
doesn't want to do that right away.
They know there's no flash on Biofrost, if they're keeping track of it.
CLG really feeling confident about moving through the jungle. Now they have this small ward line. They have quick rotation from what is kind of river to mid, back up to that top turret. Now Aphromoo is going to see what he can do. No initiation from him with Ssumday being too far back. It's just quick hits here from CLG, uncontested in the mid lane.
And they're going to get this turret. That's 2 turrets down. This makes it so that if you're a Kindred, this is exactly where you want to be. You have your multiple stacks from the early parts of the game kills.
Yeah, where is he now?
He's at 5. Woo. He's at 5 stacks in 12 minutes.
Feels good.
He got 2 in the first 2 minutes. So slacking a little bit in the 1 per minute, but still making sure that they're able to pick up whatever they can in terms of these stacks for ReignOver, and he is just having a fantastic game on this Kindred.
Yeah.
And that means now that they have the bottom 2 turrets open, they can just go ahead. We'll see this one more time where Biofrost goes forward, hit by a turret, and yeah, he
Poof. Be gone.
that's one of those mishaps with like a magician's assistant.
And she's still in half. Mid turret going down in favor of 100 Thieves. They pick up a little more gold, but close the gold gap now down to about 1.3. They will back off. 1-1 and 3 for ReignOver in that jungle, but having a great impact on this game in his first Kindred of the summer split. We know how kind of impactful he is on that Olaf. He still plays tanks decently well, but it kind of feels like it's more ReignOver when he can get his hands dirty more, when he can go aggressive. Ocean Drake going over to counter logic. Oh, I'm sorry, 100 Thieves.
I know they're in blue, so
Yeah, it was like
the colors of the teams are
boys in
reversed.
blue.
But yeah, ReignOver's gonna go ahead and use this on the top side of the map. Actually, probably contest the blue buff too, because they have. You wouldn't bring Stixxay up here to immediately recall him, so they're gonna go push and invade off of this. Otherwise, it's just kind of a useless push here. Try to get 2 off of this. Unluckily for ReignOver, it's gonna be a mark on the enemy Krugs. but he still will get the blue. And so, as a jungler, this is one of the worst places to be if you're Anda, because you're just losing the map. Even though you're doing well individually, you're losing the map, and you've lost all 3 of your outer turrets. So keeping your jungle to yourself is very hard. Your vision becomes very shallow, and you kind of have to play off of a single person, and that's Ssumday. Ssumday's the person that he can play off of, but Ssumday up 40 CS right now, but it's still not going to be enough to be like an individual 100% they're going to win the game off this lead, because it's very obvious where he's going to play.
It looks like they're trying to give him just a little bit more. Anda's been hovering down here to take down Darshan, and he may have hovered for a little too long. Anda goes down, holds that Lance Respite, knowing it will be necessary later, but quick movements by CLG as they are not hesitating. Ooh. Nice Tormented Soil to just keep harassing throughout the jungle. Soul Shackles on. Could get the upper hand. Oh, Lamp Spike goes down. They're going to keep him just add a little bit of health as Ryu tries to come in for a finishing kill. There's the cleanse going on the Dark Binding as Biofrost is ready to keep the follow-ups coming.
And now it's going to be a split push here. Top lane is being pushed by 2 members of 100 Thieves. 4 in the bottom side. 3 now for CLG.
Base race?
Nope. No, God, please no. God, no.
3,000 gold lead extended just a little bit more as they take the turret down first. Traded back stays at 3,000. Darshan back to top side, do a little janitorial duty here, and the map more opened up now. This becomes much, much better for CLG. This composition that can clear a lot of ground and just instantly collapse like this.
And the fact that ReignOver is able to get there and then has the range to just throw down the E. And this is Biofrost actually throwing, I believe that's a semi-blind Q, because...
A semi-blinding?
Yeah, because he had the sweeper going and he threw it at the shadow.
Right, and he backed up.
So he doesn't actually see exactly where Ssumday is in real time. He just threw it out there and then landed it, and then they committed to it afterwards. So really good follow-up there. And also just like ReignOver saying, I'm just going to cover this 100% just in case. You hate to see it when somebody doesn't Kindred ultimate and they get bopped, but able to completely shut down Ssumday there. And that's going to be the worry, is Ssumday in team fights can't actually get the ultimate off on multiple people because of the Kindred.
And if he can't get the ultimate off, if he can't reach the back line, that guy who received 4 bans at his position, Stixxay, is 4-0-1 on his Kalista pick. And he is absolutely crushing, making a huge impact on this game. 8-4 right now for the team, having a hand in 5 of those 8 kills as Ryu tries to head topside into turret Chronologic Gaming, taking the turret. Whew. Biofrost is going to have to think twice. Oh, the chase!
Can he save?
Oh, no!
Squeeze!
Yeah! There you go. Before he dies this time.
Hopefully every time. But yeah, Stixxay and Biofrost have actually silently been like one of the best bottom lanes in North America, because despite CLG's record, they've actually been putting up great score lines pretty consistently. It's just a lot happens with the rest of the map. Some games ReignOver isn't firing on all cylinders. They had some weird mishaps with things like Rivington and Kled in the mid lane.
Yeah.
But they've been pretty consistent on the bottom side. And so 100 Thieves, I don't blame them for actually throwing 4 bans at Stixxay.
For sure.
If they say, yo, Cody Sun is our win condition, because that's how 100 Thieves like to play, even though they don't play around Ssumday. They play around Cody Sun, and Ssumday just happens to do well. It's kind of how it happens for them. So they're like, let's just keep Cody Sun safe, try to scale play for late game. And even though they threw the bans and tried to keep him safe, it wasn't enough. 2, 3, and 1 on Cody Sun. The bottom lane is combined 3, 5, and 2 for 100 Thieves. And it's a lot of pressure that's been on them to see Stixxay kind of winning the CS battle, as well as I like the Rage Blade here. It's actually a newer build for the Kalistas. People were going Blade of the Ruined King, and then it's Rage Blade Hurricane. And you kind of go in between those two. I've seen some rapid fire cannons as well, but the Rage Blade does apply multiple stacks of your spears up for rend. So once you get in team fights and you stack that up, it's a lot of attack speed. It's also the highest attack speed item when fully stacked. It's really good.
Sounds broken.
Like it. Well, if people say broken, I would say it's an interesting item, because she doesn't make a whole lot of use of like the AP on it or the AD.
That's true.
It's more the
just
attack speed.
It's
a very high attack speed item once you stack it up completely.
Well, let's see how much he can stack it up at that 4-0-1 position, and those 2 items now finished. Executioner's Calling finally picked up by Ssumday, so that'll cut Darshan's healing nicely if he can get to him in these team fights. And also, stopwatches kind of being picked up in unison here by 100 Thieves, thinking that is going to give them an edge in these fights, and it may very well. Ryu forward, but misses the Drowsy. Why to watch out for Huhi here as he's pinching from the backside. You could find ReignOver being an initiation with Darshan.
Yep, but right now, 100 Thieves are trying to buy space, say, all right, let's delay this Infernal Drake as long as possible. Ssumday's shoving the top wave so it'll have pressure. And there's Aphromoo missing the engage.
Not something you see a lot. People wonder, what do you do to Rakan engage? Separating is a very good thing. And now 100 Thieves have to wait a little bit more to get an engage in. CLG may feel a bit stronger to start dancing for this dragon, and Darshan's going to stand up front and start tempting 100 Thieves.
And here's Ssumday. And we know 100 Thieves like to not play team fights, they like to play objectives, so they aren't even going to go for it. They just let that Infernal Drake go over. They brought Ssumday down from the top lane, and Baron's up in a few seconds here. So if CLG are really proactive in terms of getting to objectives and just taking them, I feel like 100 Thieves don't like to contest objectives ever, stylistically.
They have vision. CLG obviously just showed that they know what's coming. You're playing against Rakan, you're going to get hit up with their positioning. The separation of their fight is definitely going to make 100 Thieves think of how can we now put the next trick in that initiation. What can we do to fake out Kind of Logic Gaming? Huhi now to the top side to just clear out some waves. Good CS lead for him. CLG exits base with a few new items.
Exactly what they're going to do here with, there's some spell penetration on Huhi. So it's not a full penetration build here, it's just kind of a hybrid for the Galio, so they aren't just all physical damage, so you can't just stack armor against them, because otherwise the Kindred would be, the Kindred plus the Kalista would kind of be shut down by a full armor stacking. And remember, it's a very squishy composition from 100 Thieves that we've talked about, so having the durability and the mixture of damage is very good. You need to have at least some damage, otherwise you're hitting squishies for nothing.
Go in, he does not decide to.
Yeah, it's good control there of the scuttle from 100 Thieves, making sure they had secured it. And now it's going to be a side lane for Huhi. So the game is slowed down a bit here as 100 Thieves are playing more defensive.
Whoa! Big double damage, just about 700 to 800 across the two members. And Biofrost has to think twice now. This is 100 Thieves saying, okay, we have at least an advantage in numbers. Let's get the vision down. And they have an advantage in positioning after the fact. Just coming up on 22 minutes, and Baron is ready and waiting. But a Mountain Drake is also going to be coming up next in a short amount of time.
And you can see, I love that we're showing the vision right now, because CLG, they've lost all of their outer turrets. They're at the position that 100 Thieves were, where they had lost all of theirs. And so everybody's vision is very shallow. You're pretty much just protecting your jungle from invades. And even on the opposite side for 100 Thieves, shoving the side lanes is so difficult. Yeah. This is all they can really see here. So it's just pretty spooky. Like, I want the lights back on. Thank you.
There are times when you can see intentions in the purchases. When you see pink wards all throughout the inventories, they're ready to protect those pink wards. Here, it's ReignOver and it's Biofrost doing the job of warding supports and junglers. So they're still a little hesitant to put all these wards down. A lot of them are going to be starting the fight.
Yeah, and right now, topside, Ryu, he's going to have to back here because they're going for him. He pushed that wave all the way to the tier 2. And then same thing for Darshan on the bottom side. He actually shoved that all the way to the tier 2 as well. But it's a big wave that's going to need picking up. So you would send Ssumday, who doesn't have his teleport for 30 seconds, but that's still fine. Trinity Force, looks like Stixxay is next for him. And then he has the stopwatch on top. I like the stopwatches that people just buy. They don't always turn them into items immediately. They may even just sell it.
Yeah.
But Guardian Angel would eventually come out for Ssumday. But having a stopwatch,
it feels so good.
Yeah, it decides the team fight.
You're like anybody in the game. You're like, I have 600 gold. All right.
Yeah.
It feels so good.
It's like if you could buy one of those potions, like Elixir of Wrath and stuff. A lot of people will opt for the stopwatch instead for 100 gold more and make sure that they can have this kind of deciding moment in the fight. Because if you're having less team fights, you get to a point where that stopwatch is actually just worth more because you get it in, what, if you have 3 team fights in the game and you can use it one time, it's like, oh, 33% of the team fight I had a stopwatch. It was like, oh, great. It just
but if you're fighting all the time, you can get Wrath proc and assist buffs to keep that going.
That's true. If you're fighting all the time, the elixirs are probably better. But for this, for sure, I've been seeing it more and more and more as the splits have gone on.
Zeke's Convergence for Aphromoo. I'm sure he locked that down out of Cody Sun. They get a little bit more damage between their composition once they ult. go crazy in these fights. We actually haven't seen too many ults. The Rakan is, or I mean initiations, that's what you see coming from that pick. Only a few so far when 100 Thieves felt comfortable. Yeah,
but the last one was an attempted flash. Oh, this is actually still going to hit. Oh, juked him, went for ReignOver. But it still did a lot of damage there. ReignOver's going to have to potentially back up here. He doesn't really have anything that will heal him. Maybe do a jungle camp, but smite it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But he wants to stay out on the map.
It's like the old LeBlanc days. Oh, there's a person, half your health.
Yeah, and then
hard to fight.
Kind of want to buy lifesteal versus that champion so you can wave or something.
Just hit a few minions and top yourself off. But
yeah.
It's always backing right now. CLG losing a bit of ground, but 100 Thieves isn't gaining that in vision. Good pressure from Darshan. The rest of the team keep kind of shoving each other back.
Yeah, it's just back and forth right now. Nobody's really gaining much here. And they're just looking for item break points and kind of completions. Like Cody Sun would really want to have his Infinity Edge, but it's a long way away. We just had the Morellonomicon coming in for Ryu. Sterix now for Ssumday, so everybody's kind of getting to those full completed 2 items. We now have Stixxay with the QSS, and the Zhonya's completed for Biofrost here on the bottom side.
Yeah, just noticed as well.
Also, Aphromoo, remember the last engage was the flash Rakan engage that didn't actually land.
Back up.
So it's back up. And he may be looking for another one of those, but he wants to go right there.
Darshan, oh, what a spell shield onto ReignOver. Great hands from Biofrost as Huhi comes in. Ooh. What a hit coming from Fate's Call, and now Biofrost is going to be able to get the Zhonya's down, flash out. Ryu delivering in the Drowsy as Ssumdays and the Zhonya's. He uses that 600 gold, and what's the return on investment? It's going to be Huhi saved!
Ssumday's going in!
Spite
He's going to dunk him!
Punch, and it's going to be Stixxay down for the first time in the game. Huhi limping out to the right is a Drowsy. Drowsy ReignOver's going to be going down finally. The rest of CLG limps to safety as 100 Thieves take mid lane.
100 Thieves find
it's
it
not
finally.
over. Biofrost wants to step a little too close for comfort. The last shot's the feathers just on the edge. The auto's coming through, and Airy locks down the kill of Ryu onto Biofrost mid-turret, falling in favor of 100 Thieves.
100 Thieves is going to be able to push this and potentially go straight to the Baron there. And you see all this vision control for Counter Logic Gaming around the Baron. It's all moot right now. If they can't find a way to contest this, then it would just be a Baron going over to 100 Thieves.
I don't think they will. They'll say that.
They have TP.
Oh, no, yeah, they are going to TP in. It's going to be half health. By the time they get there, Stixxay is going to be far away. Darshan says ultimate up in just a bit. If they can kind of flex some damage in there, it's going to be a quick smite in as well. So easy take from Onda. Can Cody Sun and the rest of the team make it out alive? It doesn't look like Darshan will be able to stop too many of those backs. Now advanced by the Baron Nashor buff. Quick cleanup by Ssumday. CLG can do now on the map, because this time is kind of a moment to take back an advantage, possibly get a little bit more pressure for yourself. Here's your Acer Predator replay.
Yep. This game right here was on a knife's edge. CLG looked like they had this game from the start where Stixxay was getting fed. This is the turning point. Stixxay goes forward, throws him into 3. Then Biofrost gets everybody to back up. They counter on him, but there's this big fight on the side where Ssumday, the stopwatch comes up huge. We talked about it, where it buys so much time. It buys enough time for him to get Huhi low, who then goes inside of the ultimate there to survive, but then he already blew his stopwatch on top of it. Ssumday goes forward, looks like he wants to start dunking people, but he gets blown up right at the end. And then it just becomes this thing where people are blowing stopwatches that, you know, I don't think they had to blow at those times. Like right there, Huhi, he didn't have to blow it. He got right inside of the ultimate, would have had more time in the area. The zap, the last little tick there. So 100 Thieves now have that Baron on top of it, and Cody Sun was able to turn that fight around. But Ssumday, the zoning that he had, that was perfect.
Absolutely huge. But Counter Logic Gaming with these defensive ultimates, but using them defensively and reactively is not allowing them to get an upper hand in these fights.
Remember we talked about at the start where the composition's 100 Thieves, very, very squishy. Yeah. CLG, even though they have tankiness, they're relying on pretty much 1 or 2 people for their damage. They're relying on ReignOver a bit, and then mostly Stixxay, who Kalista's damage in teamfights, remember, she's not this big crit 80 carry.
Right, you got to be in there for a while.
She's get on the squishies. So when she was on the back line, trying to...
Whoa! And on the front line, ReignOver! Getting drowsy there, but they had the black shield on to start. Lamb's Respite going to heal them up, but not top them off as the inhibitor starts to go down. They wall off the fight, and they're going to be able to walk out of this one nice and uncontested as they come up on 30 minutes. 100 Thieves start to break Chronologic Gaming's base. Nice little fadeaway binding. It's just being a bit of a nuisance here from Biofrost Morgana.
They're gonna have to find something else than other than being a nuisance, because their damage is very low. Their Galio doesn't provide a whole lot, a lot of tankiness. He does have some damage with the penetration, but then once you get further in this game, it becomes more and more, hey, we need to rely on this Kalista and Kindred. Oh, I interrupted it.
Cannot get the fly out. You are not confirmed. 46 seconds on the death timer there. 9-8 here as Chronologic Gaming is trying to keep the base alive, and all of this poke, the drowsy bubbles, the paddle stars flying over the head of Chronologic Gaming as they're forced to duck. Fate's Call just missing Ssumday as a big ultimate is used, and now 100 Thieves feel a lot more comfortable being inside the base.
And as 100 Thieves are pretty much the best at what they do. Having that split push, having themselves kind of rip your base apart, especially when they have those Barons. Once they get the Baron, very difficult for 100 Thieves to lose games. They have very good macro around it, and they usually get the maximum for it too.
Those last fights kind of escalated that Infinity Edge for Cody Sun.
Yes.
So big, and the Stormrazor is so powerful right now. If he can just keep himself out of a fight every so often, he is exploding the health bars with CLG regardless. 3-3-3 for him. Both bot laners actually having a pretty decent game for themselves.
Yeah, but let's think about it for a second here, where Stixxay was 1,200 gold ahead of Cody Sun, had all these kills, but now you look at their gold, Cody Sun is actually ahead by about 700 gold. So Cody Sun is slingshotted and rubber banded back into the game, has the most gold on his team. Even though his CS is lower, he's still got things like shutdown kills, right? It's worth a lot when you end up getting somebody who has 4 kills.
This is kind of what 100 Thieves pick and ban played to as well. Will get you off those champions that will allow you to capitalize 25 plus minutes into the game. And that's where they're finding Stixxay and taking him down in these fights. Wall's going to go up. ReignOver can make it over. Darshan may be stuck for a bit, but it doesn't look like 100 Thieves instantly want the fight. They do get themselves back to base. ASAP, though. Teleport there from Huhi.
Yeah, Aphromoo shot calling. Heard from a few people that it's pretty reserved nowadays. It's mostly you could actually win a game by not having a fight, and that's how he likes to play, because he thinks fights are pretty high variance. It's mostly, let's just wait, out macro them, and that's how he likes to do it. Cody Sun's gonna take a lot of damage.
Lamb's Respite down once again in defense. They're gonna have to follow out of it if they want anything else. As Redemption comes down, Ryu's able to add in a little bit more damage and just a few hits. CLG is trying to work with such a small window, and I give them a lot of credit for being able to get in and do this damage, but unfortunately they're not coming up with a return.
Yeah, they have to rely on Stixxay and Biofrost. Biofrost has to land bindings. He has to get thrown in by Stixxay. But the Kalista is pretty much falling off the cliff right now. He's got 3 items, but a little too late. Cody Sun's very low.
And a beautiful shield onto ReignOver. Stops Aphromoo's charm from doing too much. And again, there's little hits onto the turret. And 100 Thieves has already broken the base. They just want everything about that base before they go for the Nexus turrets, which are already taking damage.
Yeah, that means that they get to have those super minions push in and do a lot of the dirty work for them. That Nexus turret already almost half HP, and so once you're able to just kind of keep people on the bottom side of the map, they aren't tending to those minions, and you're in a really good spot. So 100 Thieves, the game 100% in their favor right now. Hitting those big item spikes too. GA for Ssumday. 2 levels up over Darshan because he's been split pushing a little bit more. Cody Sun is now ahead and has better scaling. His 3 items are a little bit at the same point as Stixxay, but they are worth a little bit more on this Xayah. So we're at a position where 100 Thieves, like we had said, are pretty much in the lead for pretty much all metrics, I would say, except for Drake's. It's kind of the only one right now.
And they're making sure Cody Sun is kind of fit to continue to carry along with Ryu. Ardent Sensor from Aphromoo coming in for him, as it's just that utility on utility that Aphromoo can give away to his bot laner. Just a little bit of pressure, as it's all about the vision game right now. I feel like we're just going to get a fight over a ward. 30 seconds onto that Baron before they start to jockey for position. They might get a quick rotation down to steal this Ocean Drake and stay topped off for themselves. Well, they can go for a full push. Ssumday's teleport is actually up, so this could work out well. He'll be able to push the final inhibitor that's up. Put pressure on the turret that needs to go down. Well, the team can pressure Farron. This is great for 100.
Exactly. He's putting pressure on Chronologic Gaming, saying, you have to answer this wave. Person you don't want to have get hit there.
No sleeping on the job right now.
But yeah, especially no sleeping right now because there's a pressure point on the map. We see Ssumday on the bottom side pressuring, pushing. Darshan's going to have to go answer him. Remember, this Mundo is down 2 levels. And there's minions coming into the base, so you're going to have to give up that position.
Waves on both sides here, and this is when you're able to tack on a few more hits. Anda's able to say, get the flash out of Biofrost, and now ReignOver is forced to get himself in a position with a blast cone. Now they lose red, and everything starts to be suffocated from Counter Logic Gaming in just a few moments as they battle for that vision. Ssumday with a good push on bottom side really caused chaos in the strategy for CLG, and it means Baron for 100 Thieves as they rotate back to the top side of the map, uncontested. Second one of the game going to 100 Thieves.
They got back in the game off that mid lane fight.
Yeah.
Engaged. Now they've outscaled. And now they have the second Baron. This will help them get 3 inhibitors because that last turret, that last inhibitor turret that they need to knock down is very, very low. It's about a 4th HP. And so they just need to knock down the inhibs, go to that turret, knock that one down, and then they can triple inhib pretty simply.
Thieves seem to be finding a bit of a groove. It seems like they can get themselves much farther than that 3rd place match this year, possibly.
Yeah, well, 100 Thieves, and they were in the finals, right? And they
and
ended up getting 3-0'd though. That's the issue, is they got 3-0'd.
That was my 3.
Because they mostly went to long games, but Team Liquid weren't going to have that. And then 100 Thieves now, they're having longer games again, even with leads. But in this game, they're showing in a post-funnel era that they can win games. It's the old strategy of just protect Cody Sun later. Sure, you don't have to funnel him. You don't have to give him all the gold. It doesn't matter, he gets behind, whatever. They're eventually going to have fights that go their way.
Executioner's calling, not there to help cut down Darshan. The Zani goes down, and he's going to be healthy again. ReignOver onto Ryu. The Drowsy's back. They get ReignOver's lamp spike goes down just before he would follow. Huge hit onto Aphromoo. Another Justice Punch takes him down as they're trading back and forth in a 3-for-1 currently. But CLG still want to fight it, and 100 Thieves say, let's go. Triple kill for Cody Sun.
Cody Sun started off the game with an awful scoreline, ends it 6-3-4, and blows up the guy who was bullying him all game long.
Cody Sun shining through with a bit of help from the rest of the team, and they are on to the Nexus turrets. 100 Thieves locking down Counter Logic Gaming's offense and defense throughout the game, and 100 Thieves will take the victory over CLG.
And they'll keep their hold on first place as they move to 8-4. CLG, this makes it so that they've lost 4 games in a row now. Their slide from 5-3 is now 5-7 at the end of week 6. It's a game where you see the hugs there from Aphromoo, former captain of the team in Counter Logic Gaming. And he did a really good job of having the engages in the later parts of the game, taking charge and kind of dictating how 100 Thieves play the game. It was interesting because I was talking to a few people about this. You can change the players, but when you have kind of the heart of the team stay the same, the play style will stay the same. It doesn't matter if it's Anda in there, if it's Meteos. If you change people around, you're still going to play the same style if Aphromoo the one calling the shots. And so far, and after we've had some funnel games go to the wayside, the 2-0 this weekend for 100 Thieves is something where they go, yeah, they're still a team that it looks like the team that made the finals last split.
Definitely something they're going to have to feel good about on that one. 100 Thieves, in the beginning of that one, we saw Anda a little bit of trouble in mid lane, but it's great to see that that does not deter, still creating opportunities around the map, continuing to get themselves advantages and making sure they could have a lead towards the mid game, knowing that Kalista would fall off the way they wanted to fight. So for more on that victory, I'm going to hand it off to Avali, who's standing by with the 100 Thieves coach.
Thanks, guys. Probably congratulations on the win and keeping your hold on first place. You guys had a little bit of a rough early first few minutes of the game. So what's it like for you watching your team members die minutes after you step off the stage?
Oh, it's great. I love walking backstage and seeing the 0-2 start. But no, they've been practicing resiliency. So I think that showed in this game, and I think our Echo Fox game as well. So I'm glad we're getting better at fighting back through early game and not just stalling the game forever. So unhappy at the start, happy later. Yeah.
And coming into this weekend with the new patch that was kind of nerfing Funnel, people were wondering what 100 Thieves was going to do since you had the most success out of all the other teams with the Funnel comps. So how did you guys adjust?
Well, we all collectively cursed at Riot and was very, very upset that they nerfed Funnel because we really liked it. But we'd been practicing our way out of it for a long time because we knew no one really liked it on Riot's side. So right when we started learning it, we were simultaneously practicing how to play standard still. So it wasn't a huge change. It just it kind of sucks a bit when we're drafting. We're oh, we would be able to funnel here, but no, that's not funnel day. Like today, we could have funneled with this draft, but we weren't allowed to. So we just had to play standard.
No funnel for you. Earlier, Aphromoo was basically talking about how the team had to kind of relearn with your newest addition, Onda, on the team. So how did the team do that?
Oh, we just had to re-go over everything. A lot of the stuff that feels repetitive, I guess, for us, we just went over it again because, yeah, we have a new player and everything. So it's if we continue where we were a couple weeks ago, instead of resetting with Anda, then we would literally be speaking a different language and Anda wouldn't be able to understand. So we literally had to go back and start fresh with how we communicate mentality-wise, pretty much everything in the game. But it was pretty good because reinforcing fundamentals is really important. So it wasn't it put us weeks back or anything like that, but it just really helped us get on the same page.
So really quick before I let you go, on this week's heist, we saw Ssumday say he wants to go to Worlds and he wants to be MVP of the split. What do you think his chances are?
I'm going to pick a Maokai, and I'm going to ruin his chances of MVP. Yay.
You stay away from him. Courtesy of all the Ssumday fans, you stay away from him. But thank you and congratulations again on the win. And for more on the game, let's hear from the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Avli. Don't you dare put Ssumday on Maokai, probably. I don't want to see that. No, I want to see more carry-oriented picks for Ssumday up there in the top lane as Darius popping off against the Mundo this time around. A good win for 100 Thieves in a 2-0 weekend, which keeps them in that race for first place. Of course, we've got a couple other 7-4 teams yet to play today. But Prawley himself said there, wasn't incredibly happy with the early game, and they do find themselves in situations where they have to do a lot of work in the mid and late game to actually come away with victories, Jack.
Yeah, and we were talking in between the game that this was such a 100 Thieves type victory where I think they are just the best mid to late game team we have in the LCS.
Okay.
Because you look at some of their early game stats, they are 7th at gold at 15. They have a 36% first turret rate, a 45% first herald rate. They are a below average early game team. Oh, by the way, they're the best team in the league.
Right.
So clearly something here is going very well. And there's this lull in every 100 Thieves game. Something bad happens in the early game. In this instance, it was the Kalista getting 3 kills. And then it feels like the other team just isn't able to do anything. That's actually 100 Thieves taking control because they've stopped fighting you. They're getting the waves in the position. They're winning the control ward battles. They're doing all those little things. Then they get a team fight, and then they don't give it up.
Yeah, I think that's the fundamentals that Prawley was speaking of there, the fact that they will continue to fight you over vision very intelligently, and that's also why they have the highest Baron control rate by far in the league. It was, I believe, 75% before this game, and then they got 2 more, and the enemy team got none. So that number's going to keep going up in their favor.
I mean, it's interesting. It reminds me of, I think, a soundbite we had from Prawley last split where he said the team focuses on an annoying play style, and that's kind of what you're keying at, right? This idea of fighting over vision and making it hard for the opposing team to do anything. We're not doing a ton ourselves, but we're making it impossible for you to make moves.
Yeah, it must be so annoying to play against because you're like, all right, we got a 3,000 gold advantage. Let's fight them. And they just they refuse.
Don't let you.
You are not able. You can't get spotted. You can't flank them. You can't start Baron because that's when they'll fight you. Like it's impressive even if it looks boring.
All right, so let's try and put some evidence to what we're talking about here. I want to start with the hole that they kind of dug for themselves, maybe with the usage of the pick of the TP on the ADC here for Cody Sun.
Yeah, we're going to continue a conversation from yesterday where we were asking, why doesn't everyone just take TP if it's so broken? The reality is, when you get into more aggressive laning matchups, you start getting punished. If you have heal there, that gets to keep people alive. They finish off Stixxay as well, and then maybe it starts trading out. Here, teleports on cooldown, he came back to laning phase.
Just to die.
Just dies again because the enemy team still has aggressive champions down there. Stixxay and Biofrost are by far the kind of catalyst for the early game, along with ReignOver. All 3 of them combined always get leads for themselves. And then they picked a super aggressive bot lane with Kalista and Kindred. You know action's going to be happening bot lane, and 100 Thieves were even opting into it. So in those situations, the teleport does nothing. And that's one of those times
Can't
where...
say definitively that heal would have turned the tides of each of those skirmishes, but TP wasn't helping you either in that situation.
And that's why you don't see TP on Stixxay there. He knows we're going to go aggressive in the bot lane. We don't want TP. And I think, you know, Cody Sun probably, if he looks back at that, would have preferred that because he didn't have any like effective TPs over the course of the game.
But those are the early kills you're talking about, Chad. That all looks really good for CLG. And if you're telling me that those things are happening at levels 3, 4, 5, and 6, oh my goodness, a Kalista's just going to run over this 100 Thieves team. And then we get all of a sudden we're at 27 minutes and 100 Thieves is winning fights.
Yeah, and by the way, the gold lead was only 2,000 or 3,000 at this point, and this fight was actually very well played by CLG. Aphromoo gets a lot of spells out, specifically the Galio ultimate with that faked out engage, and then a little bit of desync by CLG where Stixxay and Bio go in. But as you notice, CLG's now blown everything, and 100 Thieves is still actually quite healthy, so they can just charge forward towards the end of this fight. Big misplay would be Stixxay staying out of the Kindred ultimate, but he was going for a play on Ondo, who had a nice stopwatch.
Yeah, isolated himself there.
Yeah, I'd say it was actually a pretty good play by both teams. The Galio ult being a little off. They could get a lot of chase down kills here as Biofrost is probably not taking the safest path. It gets caught out a little bit for, and that's going to get them the Baron. But it was a situation where Aphro goes in, Galio counter engage, then CLG go for their own engage with the Kalista ult. That gets countered out as well. And then you have the 4-0 Kalista who steps forward, and that's a huge mistake by Stixxay. If he kites back with the Kindred, even though they're all low HP, you have a full health Mundo on the side, and you can bait the enemy team into fighting you in a Kindred ult, and then maybe you can go chase down for more kills. That doesn't happen at all. Stixxay dies right at the start.
I mean, there you have it, Chad. About 5 minutes into the game, roughly 1.5K goal lead for CLG. That only grows to 3.2 by 20 minutes. So 15 minutes of gameplay, only growing a lead by that much. To have it turned around 5 minutes later off of a good fight from 100 Thieves continues to show, okay, why they're a good mid to late game team. But then if you're looking at points of improvement for 100 Thieves, I have to imagine we're searching in that early game for, okay, how do we be the team with the 1.5 or 3K goal lead around 15 minutes?
I think it's a couple small mistakes that just need to get cleaned up. Onda running through there, face-checking the Kindred was a mistake. I understand the idea of, like, I want to go blue to blue, but you have to be a little bit more intelligent about it. After that, he still found some kills in the bot lane and the top side, which was good. But once again, you have that summoner choice, which was probably the wrong one. And with all the aggression down the bot side, it allowed it to snowball a little bit more. But those feel pretty doable in terms of cleaning up. So I think there is a pretty clear path here for 100 Thieves to get even better.
Moving to 8-4 at the end of week 6, 100 Thieves, our runners-up from the spring split, looking pretty solid. We're stepping away. When we return, it's Team Liquid versus Clutch, where Azale will host Liquid Steve and Clutch's Seb Park in the NLCS Lounge on Riot Games 2. You won't want to miss it.